Die Ruhe vor dem Sturm. Ein tiefgründiger Titel für eine tiefgründige Zeit. Wir haben hier Neale Walsch, den Autor des Buches. Neale, what was your intention to write this book?
Well, I have two intentions. Number one, I wanted to give people a chance to step away from their fears. There's been a lot of fear around what's going to happen in 2012, particularly toward the end of the year, in December. Is it going to be the end of history? Is it going to be, the end of life as we know it? Is there going to be a big calamity, a big earth disaster? Are all the systems, financial systems, ecological systems, social systems, going to fall apart? A lot of fear. So the first thing I wanted to do was to give people a chance to step back from their fear, to let them know that there's nothing to be afraid of, to let them know that there are big changes taking place. There's no question about that. Changes all over the world. In fact, changes in our financial system, in our political system, in our environment, in education, in spirituality. Big changes, but not changes to be afraid of. Really changes to welcome, changes to be excited about, changes that we could celebrate. So my first intention with this book was to shift the energy from fear to excitement and away from being frightened and more toward what can we do to help bring about these exciting changes. The second intention for the book was to place before humanity a series of questions that could help human beings everywhere to create the kind of world we really want. To begin now, as we move deeper into the 21st century, to produce the kind of joint experience, the kind of collaborative outcome that we've all yearned for so long and just don't know how to create. So I don't pretend that this book has all the answers, but I do say maybe it's a good beginning for a conversation. So I'm trying to start a global conversation on these topics. Those are my two intentions.
I'm sure that you answered these 7 questions for yourself. Will you give us the answers, your answers?
Do you want them before I give you the questions? Or should I give you the questions first?
Okay.
Because I think the questions are very important.
Mm-hmm.
And because no one is asking the questions. Your prime ministers are not asking the questions. Presidents are not asking the questions. Ulamas and the Archbishop of Canterbury and the heads of corporations, nobody in power is asking the questions. Nobody wants to ask the questions because they don't have the answers. And if they raise the question, then they have to at least propose an answer, and nobody has any proposals. So here's the question. There are really 7 simple questions, but the first one is the most important. How is it possible for 6.9 billion people to all want the same thing and be unable to get it? How is it possible for us all to say we want peace, security, health, happiness, prosperity, opportunity, abundance, joy, love? We all want the same thing. And not be able to produce it, even though 7 billion people have been trying, and even though the entire human race has been trying for thousands of years, not for a few months, or a few years, or even a few decades, or even a few centuries, but for thousands of years. If this had been a science experiment, we would have given it up a long time ago. We would have said, scientists would say, there's some data missing. There's something we clearly don't understand. Or there's no way that we could be trying to do this for several thousand years and not be able to produce it. We're too smart. We're not stupid, unless we don't have some information. It's like trying to turn the light switch on in the room, but nobody will tell you where the light switch is. You know the lights go on, but you don't know where's the light switch? So if somebody would just tell you where the light switch is, then you have all the information. So the second question of the 7 important questions is it possible that there's something we don't fully understand about life, the understanding of which would change everything? That's not a small question, because many people think it's not possible. They say, no, we have all the answers. We know what there is. We have the important answers, for sure. Excuse me. The important answers are in the Bible, or the Book of Mormon, or the Bhagavad Gita, or the Upanishads, or the Quran, in one of those books. So we have the important answers. There's nothing we need to know. But until humanity agrees that there may be some data missing, we'll never solve the problem, because we keep trying to solve the problem the same way over and over again. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. The third of the questions is it possible there's something we don't understand about ourselves, about who we are, the understanding of which would change everything? For the better, for the rest of our lives on this planet. And then behind those 3 questions, which I call the 3 persistent questions, which nobody wants to ask. See, no president of the United States, no prime minister. Mrs. Merkel is not going to ask the question. Hollande, the new president of France, he's not going to ask the question. Obama is not going to ask the question. The Pope is certainly not going to ask the question. But I am asking the question. And I am asking all people, the ordinary, common people, to ask the question. How is it possible, after thousands of years of trying, that we can't produce a simple result, like living for maybe one day without killing people on the planet? Forget about the rest. Let's just stop killing people. Forget about feeding everybody. That's a really big one. You've got to feed everybody. We throw away more food from our plates in restaurants than it would take to feed half of Africa. What kind of a civilization does that? Which leads to the 4th question. The 4th question that I dare people to ask themselves is, who am I? I mean, in relationship to all the rest of life and to God, in relationship to each other, who am I? The 5th question, why am I here? What is my real purpose for being here on the earth? Nobody asks that question either. My father was 83 years old. He never asked a question. Because he thought he had the, why would he ask the question? He thought he had the answer. I'm here to be a good guy, to be a good man, have a wife, raise a family, get a good job, do the best I can, get a house, get a car, give my children the best opportunity I can. That's what I'm here for. But in fact, that may not be the whole answer. See, there may be more data that we're not getting. Which leads to the 6th question. Why am I where I am? Not just where am I, but why? Why am I on the earth? What is the point of this? This is not a new question. My gosh, philosophers have been asking this question from the beginning of time. And religion, to be fair, has tried to give us an answer. They simply haven't been able to do it. And that leads us to the 7th question. what do I intend to do about that? What do I intend to do? Am I going to use my life in any way that advances, that moves forward the agenda, the larger agenda? Or am I going to, get the girl, get the car, get the house, get the kids, get the job, get the promotion, get the better job, get the better house, get the better car, get the bigger office in the corner with the windows, get the big salary, get the gray hair, get the retirement watch, get the sickness, and get out. It's the end of my life. How do I want to play this extraordinary game? So my answers to those questions, question one, how is it possible that we all want the same thing and can't get it? It's possible because what we want is the wrong thing. We're after the wrong thing. And we're trying to get it the wrong way. This is not a contest to see who gets the most toys. In America we have a saying, the one with the most toys at the end wins. But that's not really it. Because when you're breathing your last breath, 99 years old, sitting in the chair, you won't care how many cars you had or how big your house was. And those things won't matter to you, or how good a job you had. Those things won't matter to you. In that final moment, you will know what was really important, and you'll go, I missed it. I missed it. I thought it was about the car, the house, the woman, the job. I missed it. So the reason we can't create what we've been trying to create for thousands of years is we're trying to create the wrong thing. Second question. Is it possible there's something we don't understand? The understanding of which would change everything? Yes, of course. Naturally. What we don't understand is that we keep praying to God to provide us the things that we then do the opposite to produce ourselves. We pray to God for peace. Peace on earth, goodwill toward men. We put it on our Christmas cards. Peace on earth, goodwill toward men. 1 day a week. And the other 6 days, we do everything to create the opposite. Can't even create peace in our own houses. Can't even get through the month without having an argument with our own spouse. Forget about the rest of the world. Don't even know how to get along in our own neighborhood. Forget about the countries. So what we don't understand is that we are creating our own reality here. This isn't something that's happening to us. Life is happening through us. But unless we are willing to take responsibility for the outcomes we're creating, we are doomed to repeat them. And history has shown this. History is a testament to what I've just said. Evidence. You would think we'd listen to the evidence. But no, we keep doing the same thing anyway, hoping that it'll turn out differently next time. So what we don't understand is we didn't come here to gather the most toys or to do anything really in particular. We came here to be something. What we don't understand here is that we are on a sacred journey, that we all have a soul, and that the soul is on a sacred journey from birth to death. And it's the journey of the soul that is our purpose for living. And if everybody, the whole world, if everybody on the planet understood that and lived that, you wouldn't have killing or violence. You wouldn't have 400 children every day dying on this planet of starvation. Such a thing would be impossible. Right now, there are 400 children every day who die of starvation because we don't know what we're doing here. We are so impotent, we can't even get food to starving people. We don't have the will to do it. We can't stop ourselves from killing ourselves or allowing others to be killed for no reason, to die without reason. That's the mark of a primitive society, very primitive. In the United States, we actually kill people to convince people not to kill people. We call it the death penalty. So we say, we shouldn't kill anybody, and to prove it, I'm going to kill you. And we don't see the contradiction. Only a primitive, very primitive person would fail to see the contradiction. My answer to the third question, is it possible there's something I don't understand about myself, the understanding of which would improve my life for the better, is of course there is. What I don't understand is that I am an aspect of divinity. I don't understand that I'm a part of God. What I don't understand is that there's no separation between me and God, that God and I are one, and that you and I are one. And here's what's interesting. We can experience that in about 20 seconds. All you have to do to experience that you're one with another human being is to look into their eyes for 1 minute. Because the eyes are the windows of the soul. That's why when people are angry with each other, they can't look at each other. They have to look away. We can't even look at each other when we're making love. We have to close our eyes. It's too intense. We have to look away. Because if we look each other in the eye, we'd never hurt anybody. You can't even hit your dog. Look your dog in the eye. Because you see nothing but love there. Nothing but love. We think the dog loves us because he doesn't know any better. The dog loves us without condition precisely because he does know better. My answer to the fourth question, who am I? I am a messenger. I am an aspect of divinity. I am everyone's brother. And I am a part of God, even as a drop of water is a part of the ocean. It's not the ocean. I'm not God. But a drop of water is part of the ocean, made up of the same stuff, no different from the ocean, except in size. So I'm no different from God, except in size. So I'm a teeny tiny particle of God. But a big enough particle that I can create my own reality and co-create a collective reality with you if we want to. And if we can get a number of people together, pretty soon you have a small lake and then an ocean. Where am I? I am living, my answer, I am living in the realm of the relative. I have come to the realm of the relative from the realm of the absolute. I've come to the realm of physicality from the realm of spirituality. And I've come here, that's the next question, why am I where I am? I'm here because only in relative terms can I experience and express the divinity within me. Because in absolute terms, it's impossible to experience that, since that's all there is. That is, in paradise or in heaven or in the realm of spirituality, there is only one thing. God is all there is. God is also all there is in physicality, but it takes many different forms. Looks like me, looks like you, looks like this table, looks like the whole world. So what God has done in the realm of physicality is it's divided itself up into a million, billion, gazillion different parts so that God could look at itself and know itself in its own experience. Whereas in the realm of the spiritual, it's all one thing. There's nothing else. And it needed the experience of relativity in order for it to appreciate and know itself completely. So when we understand that, we don't condemn that which is other than us, but we see it simply as an extension of who we are, and if we wish to change it, we can use the energies of divinity within us to produce any kind of alteration or change that we choose. But no spiritual master ever condemns what he sees that's not who he is, but merely sees it as part of the contrasting field or the contextual field. Which is why all masters, not just Jesus, but all the great masters have said in their own way, judge not, and neither condemn, but be a light unto the darkness, that you might know who you really are. And that the darkness itself might be transformed in the process. Which is the answer to the last question. What do you intend to do about that? What I intend to do about that is to do whatever I can to be a light unto the darkness, that all people might know who they really are, that the world might change its idea about God, about themselves, and about each other. I believe in the years beyond 2012 that humanity is in fact moving into a new era, a new time, when our total understanding of who we are and why life is the way it is will change. And it will change because of books like this, movies that we see, and interviews just like the one you're doing. That you are among the agents of change, bringing people an opportunity to look at things in a new way, a daring new way, because they have to let go of all their old stories, all their old ideas, all their old traditions. Why wouldn't we let go of them? They've never worked anyway. The world is right now where it was thousands of years ago. We're still killing, still fighting each other. We're still letting children die. Letting children die for lack of a piece of bread. Who does that? What species does that? Even animals take care of their young better than that. So it's time for humanity to grow up, to wake up, to rise up, and express itself as who it really is. Thanks for asking me the questions.
Thank you, Neale. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have a wish for the audience? Do you want to take a look in the camera and say something to the audience?
To all of those who hear my voice now, I would invite you to notice that you do not know how much time you have left on this planet, and neither do I. I would encourage you then to use every single minute of the remaining time you have left to allow other people to know who they really are, to wake other people up to their true identity, their true purpose, their real reason for being on the planet, to shift and change the consciousness of humanity, or at least of the part of humanity that you touch. I invite you to take a look at one thing. Your life is not about you. It's about everyone else whose life you touch. You can change your life overnight if you'll embrace this simple notion. And life will never be the same again for you. Interestingly enough, you'll be happier than you ever imagined possible. So that's my invitation to you. Make your whole life a conversation with God.